Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Out in the open, gay hatred in pro sports. How many people secretly believe what a basketball player just said out loud? Also, swearing to tell the truth on someone else's holy book. If you'd rather not swear on a Quran, why force Muslims to swear in on a Bible? Plus, a shocking form of child therapy. Critics call it child abuse. We are starting with anti-gay bigotry in sports. It is out in the open big time tonight thanks to an on-the-radio rant by former pro basketball player Tim Hardaway. He flat out said, "I hate gay people." Our look at how many players and fans share that homophobia and why it is so hard for pro athletes to come out. We begin with Thelma Gutierrez.
In the high-stakes, testosterone-driven world of the NBA, two players recently came out to reveal who they are.
I hate gay people, so, I let it be known. I don't like gay people. I don't like to be around gay people.
These are the loud comments that pollute the air. This is what makes the lives of GLBT, gay and lesbian young people in schools miserable.
Retired NBA center John Amaechi is the first NBA player ever to publicly reveal he is gay. Tim Hardaway, retired NBA All-Star, came out on a Miami sports radio talk show and revealed he is homophobic.
Yeah, I'm homophobic. I don't like it. It shouldn't be in the world for that or in the United States.
On gay teammates, Hardaway voiced strong objections.
First of all, I wouldn't want him on my team, and second of all, if he was on my team, I would, really distance myself from him because I don't think that's right. I don't think that he should be in a locker room while we're in a locker room.
These are the comments that create the atmosphere that allow some of the tragic incidents of homophobia that we've seen, some of the attacks, some of the deaths.
Hardaway's comments about gays and lesbians sparked a backlash. The NBA has canceled all of his league-related appearances, including this week's All-Star game in Las Vegas. NBA Commissioner David Stern said, quote, "It is inappropriate for him to be representing us, given the disparity between his views and ours." In Florida, where the former Miami Heat guard owns a car wash, some customers were shocked and angry.
Disgusting. And, having grown up in northern Florida, dealing with racism there and desegregating schools up there, it's really unfortunate that you still hear things like that.
During Lakers practice today, Phil Jackson, known as one of the more progressive coaches in the league, says the NBA is not, quote, for the faint of heart.
So it does create a situation where it's difficult for a player who, wants to, be honest with himself to be so in this game, and that's pretty natural. I think that's a pretty natural element. But we hope that we move far enough in our society to accommodate those people, even in our sport.
Tim Hardaway later issued an apology for his comments, saying, "Yes, I regret it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said I hate gay people or anything like that. That was my mistake."
So what kind of reaction are you hearing from the gay community out there?
Well, Paula, I can tell you that the gay activists, of course, are outraged at the comments. One gay activist pointed out that that Hardaway actually apologized for saying that he's sorry that he said it, but he did not say he was sorry for feeling it. Now, we also talked to fans who are out here at the Staples Center. They're gathering for the Lakers game against the Cleveland Cavaliers later on tonight. The majority of fans told us that they're not outraged at the comments. They say he should have kept his mouth shut, and also that it boils down to a player's ability on the court and how exciting he is to watch, not his sexual orientation. That's from the fans, Paula.
Thelma Gutierrez, thank you so much for that update. We just saw former NBA player John Amaechi in Thelma's report, and he was a guest on this program a little bit earlier on this week. He is the first NBA player ever to reveal he is gay and is the Human Rights Campaign's national coming out spokesman. His new book, Man in the Middle, is what Tim Hardaway was discussing on the radio yesterday. Thanks for coming back in.
Thank you.
What was your reaction when you heard Tim Hardaway say that he hated gay people, you didn't even belong in the world?
I think there's a profound sadness about that. From a personal point of view, I feel quite resilient. I was prepared through this process to hear some comments that I didn't like to hear. The problem with it is that his comments are now banging around the international scene. They are affecting hundreds of thousands of young people. hundreds of thousands of people in their workplace. What he says affects the way they feel.
Sure, but I don't understand how such vile comments could make you feel resilient in any way.
This is something I'm an activist in this extent. I was ready for this. In bringing out the book and making the announcement about my sexuality, this is something I was prepared for. The problem is...
Out and outright contempt? That's what you're expecting?
Yes. I don't think there are many gay and lesbian people who do not know that there are people in this society who hold them with even less than out and out contempt. I was aware of that from the beginning. The problem with his words is that they ricochet around the corridors of schools, around workplaces, and make life ever more difficult for gay and lesbian people, and even those who are perceived to be gay and lesbian. The other problem is it emboldens those who would have hate in their heart. It stops them from, it turns them from being someone who might potentially think these things, discuss it in close company, to people who might now actually be vitriolic and say these things and even act as well. So it's doubly damaging.
Do you in any form accept Tim Hardaway's apology?
No, I think it's trite. I think it's convenient. I think it's a form of legalese.
John, if you don't mind standing by, I want to bring someone who knows what gay tolerance or intolerance is all about in the NBA. It is just below the surface, it turns out, everywhere. Billy Beane played Major League Baseball in the 1990s and 80s. He came out after he retired. He writes about it in his book, Going the Other Way, Lessons from a Life in and Out of Major League Baseball. Billy, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Paula.
We also heard Tim Hardaway say if he found out a teammate was gay, that he would ask for the player to be removed from the team because, quote, no one in the locker room would feel comfortable with that person. If that is true, are current professional gay athletes anywhere close to coming out?
Well, today is a perfect example of why players like John, even in this era, and myself, you learn so quickly what you can and cannot do. And especially in the NBA, where you have 12 men on a team, and a player of Tim Hardaway's stature, I watched him. This is my hometown where this happened, and it's just so disappointing. But a player of his stature, he absolutely in the NBA, you see players get head coaches fired every single day. So if a player, unless he was the star of the team, you know, they don't have to say why. But if it certainly is very possible that he could have had the power, or a player like him could have had the power to get rid of a player if somebody did come forward.
How many professional athletes out there feel the way he feels?
Well, I think that, you know, when the truth comes flying out of someone's mouth like that today or yesterday, unprovoked, it's a hard question to answer, but it's such a stinging reminder that, you know, obviously not every player in the NBA or Major League Baseball, NFL, or hockey feels this way. But it's the vocal one or two that can disrupt a team. And I think even if there's some compassion and empathy on the part of owners or general managers or people that make these teams up and make these decisions every single day, they have to take into consideration the chemistry of their closed-minded players, especially their superstars. And I think that I heard John make a really, really intelligent point a couple days ago. And, you know, a team player has the responsibility to do what he can to make that team the best it can be. And a player that is in the closet and holding on to that secret, who is an integral part, would have to consider you know, him coming forward, even though that would be a great contribution possibly to society, that could be disruptive to his teammates. And he doesn't want to disrupt the flow of that either.
Well, John, that brings me to this question. A lot of people are saying you're a hero, but you got some sports writers out there saying until a person currently in the NBA or someone currently playing baseball professionally comes out and says the kinds of things you're saying, it really won't have any impact on those men that are closeted and having to live the sad life that you led for so many years, not being able to be who you were.
I understand those comments, but on one level. But I also look at this and I think, how can it be that we demand our pound of flesh from these people who have so much to lose, players much better than I, who are posters on walls, heroes in the eyes of men and women? We ask them to fall on their sword without even the slightest indication from society that the door is even open for dialogue. I think we deserve, those players deserve, to have the dialogue at least start so that they know that this is a monumental step for them, but it'll be towards progress. It can't be that we demand martyrdom before we even consider having the conversation.
John, Amaechi, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Billy Bean, you as well.
Thank you.